the face. Second bone to ossify after clavicle. ठीक है. It has a body, ramus. 2 rami and 1 body. Body is divided into 2 halves, right and left. उसके बाद
symphysis menti is a line at which the right and left halves of the bone meet each other.
ठीक है. symphysis menti हो गया.
It is marked by a faint ridge.
A faint ridge. अच्छा, इसके बाद जो है बॉडी का आउटर सरफेस, इनर सरफेस, एल्वियोलर बॉर्डर एंड लोअर बॉर्डर इज कॉल्ड बेस. एल्वियोलर बॉर्डर बेयर सॉकेट, लोअर बॉर्डर इज कॉल्ड बेस. एंटीरियर सरफेस पर क्या क्या फीचर्स हैं? मेंटल प्रोट्रूबरेंस है, ट्रायंगुलर इन द सेंटर. At its 2 inferior angles we have mental tubercles. Then on the lateral aspect we have this oblique line which is continuous with the anterior border of this coronoid process, and inferiorly it becomes continuous. It goes towards this mental tubercle below the mental foramen. We have this mental foramen which lies between the 2 premolar teeth. Interval between the 2 premolar teeth on the outer surface. और कौन सा point है on the outer surface?
Incisive fossa.
Incisive fossa just present just below the incisor.
It gives origin to the depressor mentalis.
Mentalis and to the incisive part of the orbicularis oris, or mental part of the orbicularis oris. On the inner aspect है ना?
Mylohyoid line.
We have this mylohyoid line which runs from below the 3rd molar tooth towards below these mental spines. Just behind the symphysis menti we have these 4 mental tubercles or genial tubercles or mental spines, superior and inferior. Then below the mylohyoid line there is a depressed area which is called submandibular fossa. Above the mylohyoid line this depressed area is called sublingual fossa. This largest tubular gland, this largest sublingual gland. Below and posterior superior to this mylohyoid line we have this mandibular foramen. Anterior part of mandibular foramen
has a lingula.
The lingula is a process which apex of which is directed towards the head of mandible. Below and behind the mandibular foramen we have this mylohyoid groove. Okay, on the lateral aspect of the ramus. Ramus has medial and lateral surfaces, anterior, posterior, superior and inferior borders. Inferior border is a continuation of base of the body. It becomes continuous at the angle of the mandible with the posterior border. Superior border has a notch called mandibular notch. Anterior border becomes continuous with the oblique line. The anterior superior part of ramus is projected into the coronoid process, posterior superior part into the condyloid process. Condyloid process has a head which is broadened from lateral to medial side. And below the head is a narrow region called neck. The anterior part of the neck has this pterygoid fovea,
which gives attachment to the
lateral pterygoid muscle. Head is covered by fibrocartilage.
Pterygoid fovea identify करो एक सेकंड दोबारा.
ये
तो दूसरे इस पे identify करो.
Pterygoid fovea.
Pterygoid fovea, which gives attachment to the
lateral pterygoid muscle.
Lateral
insertion to head is covered by fibrocartilage, and it takes part in forming temporomandibular joint. Features सारे हो गए.
Right.
कुछ रहता तो नहीं है फीचर्स में?
नहीं.
एक अटैचमेंट बताओ.
The oblique line on the lateral side.
It gives attachment to the mylohyoid muscle.
Now oblique line gives attachment to the
oblique line on the outer surface. अच्छा. It gives origin to the buccinator as far forward as the first molar tooth. First molar tooth तक है ना? हाँ, first molar tooth तक है.
In front of this origin is the origin of the depressor labii inferioris and the depressor anguli oris.
Depressor labia inferioris and depressor anguli oris. ठीक है, यहाँ पर फर्स्ट मोलर टूथ के आगे जो oblique line है वहाँ से. फिर जो है
the anterior margin of the mandibular.
Incisive fossa की attachment तो हो गई. Mentalis and the orbicularis oris incisive part.
Mylohyoid lingula. The mandibular foramen.
Sphenomandibular ligament.
Lingula gives attachment to the sphenomandibular ligament and lies anterior to the mandibular
foramen. वो तो हो गया ना फीचर्स में. Mylohyoid line to the mylohyoid muscle. This is mylohyoid line ना? Mylohyoid line gives attachment to mylohyoid muscle. Then genial tubercles में superior one give origin to genioglossus, inferior to the geniohyoid. This angle on the medial aspect of this angle gives insertion to the medial pterygoid. Lateral pterygoid is inserted to the pterygoid fovea. Lateral surface except the posterior superior part. Whole of lateral surface of the ramus provides insertion to the mesenteric muscle.
Masseter muscle.
लेटरल मीडियल टीरियड हो गया। चौथा मसल कौन सा है मेस्टिकेशन का? टेम्पोरली
Temporalis coronoid
insert
process.
onto the lateral surface and onto the anterior aspect of coronoid process of
Is the type
lateral
one.
or medial on the apex भी है और on continued onto the anterior and anterior border of coronoid process। फिर जो है टेम्पोरलिस के बाद कौन सी इंसर्शन रह गई?
हो गया बस।